Bill. Hey, there's me. I forgot to add us to the fucking stream while the intro was playing. Fight Show episode 24, presented by Pull No Punches Apparel, 717 Surplus, and our friends over at noslap.com. You see Bill sitting there with the soul slap ready to go. Noslap.com, code Fight Show for 20% off. You know, if we're bringing you guys something, the code's probably going to be Fight Show. Episode 24, bud. We've been doing this for 24 weeks.
There we go. I'm sure I've said some choice or interesting stuff in my my episodes.
We've gotten some good sound bites in the last 3 months. But
yeah, no more casino singing. No more asking for prayers or favors or butchering song lyrics. Oh my God. How do you have that queued up?
It's always queued up.
Jesus. Yeah, I can karaoke the shit out of some stuff. So,
but yeah, can you know?
I only talk to God when I need a favor.
Who sang it better, Bill or Jelly Roll? Anyways, noslap.com. You leave it up there at the bottom for a little bit, guys. 20% off your order with Fight Show. Bill, 2 weeks into using No Slap.
I think
what are you thinking?
Bill
is officially. Bill lives his life in excess. So he's officially going past. We're 2 weeks in, and he's on the soul slap ready, guys.
Good shit, man. Yeah, I got my order coming. This week. So
cool.
I like it.
I'm still on what they sent us, so I'm still having a little fun with it.
Well, you've told me how to extend the life in it. So
well, yeah. So see, I had this one here. This is the original one that we cracked with Travis from those slap 2 weeks ago in the show. Mm-hmm. Been using it for 2 weeks. As far as my daily life, sleepy driving, it helps. So if you got to drive, especially if you're a trucker, it's probably good to have this stuff. I know waking up in the morning, I always deal with a little bit of sinusy stuff, no matter what the season is. With the weather being the way it is in Pennsylvania lately, I know it clears my sinuses right up. And I also know that if you crack a tube last week and just let it sit on your laptop in your office for like an entire week and then go to crack it thinking it's this one, you almost fall out of your chair pre-show. So that was, I wish we had the clip on that. Yeah, unfortunately, that wasn't live on the internet.
My coworkers have had some fun hitting this at work. It's good. So, yeah, I enjoy it. So my order will be here, and I'll keep one of those little sticks and I'll use it the way it's supposed to be used, so it won't dry out in 3 days.
How are you? No, there's definitely a use case for it. Like I said, guys, you could use it. Head over to No Slap. They got a bunch of different stuff. But yeah, no, it's smelling salts with peppermint essential oils. Got a lot of use cases so far we found. I know guys that have used it, quote unquote, in place of a pre-workout. Excuse me, kind of get them going. But yeah, head over to our friends over at noslap.com and check out the old offerings over there and use the code Fight Show to let them know that we sent you. What's up, bud? Other than that,
been reading a lot of stuff in the news. I guess this antitrust lawsuit is still going on between like Kung Lee, Nate Quarry, Nate Marquardt, all those old school names that you recognize. You know, they were saying the UFC had a monopoly on this thing and they weren't paid fair. And then, you know, I forget they were calling some of the I think Randy Couture might have even been involved in it, and they were calling forward some characters to speak on behalf of the UFC this week. So, you know, that's pretty interesting to see how that's going to shake out, you know.
The fighter pay thing is funny to me because you sit here and you look at every other professional sport, and with the exception of like Pat McAfee, what punter's making what Pat, you know what I'm saying? Like there's levels to this shit, and that's anywhere you go.
Well, let's get into it a little bit. Being the entrepreneur that you are, you know, did you ever feel that the UFC had a monopoly? I don't. I mean, they did it, and that's what Dana White used to say. They did it better than everybody, but there were a ton of places you could fight. Obviously, the one that made the most money and did it the best was the UFC. But is it a monopoly when you have the only access to something, there was 1,000 promotions that these guys could have fought at. They just, the UFC was the one everybody wanted to be in and did it the best.
I say there's been a couple different cases. Look, first of all, you have right now 700 people under contract. How many people have been under contract in 30 years? Because this suit, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, the years, but I've been following it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the business side of this sport, but like it intrigues me. It just intrigues just to go down the rabbit hole. But it's only, I think, till like 2017. Don't quote me on that. I might be wrong. If you're watching the show and you know the date, hit it in the comments. But no, so it's only back so far. Everybody that could have opted out didn't opt out. And Dana was like, we don't want anybody. Like, if you're going to get paid from this thing, get paid. Like, it's not at this point with TKO backing them and Endeavor, or not TKO backing them, but being under the TKO umbrella, having the backing of Endeavor and the powerhouse that is. If it ends up with getting a bunch of people paid and ends up getting a bunch of people paid, I know recently in the last couple weeks, Sam Alvey came out with a really good video about fighter pay, and the caveat to that is Sam Alvey's now the Karate Combat heavyweight champion. Sam Alvey was the definition of a journeyman, and he was around the sport for a bunch of years. And if you paid attention to the sport, he might not have been always a main card fighter, but Sam Alvey, again, journeyman. I think maybe 13 years with the UFC.
He was around.
Spoke highly of him. Doesn't work for the promotion anymore. Michael Chandler just got on there the other day. And the part that people seem to forget about this, and if it's media or if it's a Jake Paul type persona, or how many people leave as free agents? You have it's a case by case basis. You have your franchises. You have
if you think you have a future in the UFC, nobody's leaving. Every person that turns professional, and I say this, there's caveats, there's rules to this, there's people don't want anything to do with it. The majority of the people worldwide, no matter where the fuck you are, if you pursue martial arts as your passion and you want to do it professionally and you're doing it on a professional level in your region, in your area, your goal is probably to get to the UFC. Much like the NBA, Major League Baseball, or NFL. You're not doing it to play in the Canadian Football League. You're trying to play in the NFL.
No. And the amount of people, there no free agents leave. Derek Brunson got cut. Corey Anderson got cut. And again, everybody gets respect. I'm glad the PFL exists. I'm glad they bought up Bellator. I'm glad guys like Brent Primus and Johnny Eblen and these guys that have put all this time in. Brent Primus fought his entire professional career, I believe, in Bellator. So I'm glad that these guys still have a home. I'm glad their options are there. My only issue with the PFL is Don Davis, and he can't make it 5 minutes without comparing himself to the UFC. Look, we all understand they're the benchmark. You can't sit there and call yourself co-leaders in one thing and compare yourself to everything that everybody's doing, and you're paying Kayla Harrison 6 figures while her opponent makes less than a full Venom Fight Week bonus. Like their pay gap matches their talent gap. There's a reason MVP decided when the writing was on the wall, he had the choice between PFL and Bellator. He went. Kayla Harrison, the week before she announced that Don Davis is talking about the future of her with the company, and this she's out.
All right, so my question for you and all this would be, whether it's PFL, Bellator, UFC, whatever, if anybody in the business world offers you a contract to do something and you're not happy with it, or you don't think it's lucrative, or it just doesn't work for you, don't sign it. If the UFC offers a contract and you sign it and you fight, what do they really owe you after they paid you the amount that the contract was agreed to? What do they owe you after that? You're a
diehard football fan, right?
Not diehard, but yeah, I'm a do the right thing fan.
You're a Phillies fan, or a Philly fan, right? You're an Eagles fan. Is that okay? So you're an Eagles fan. Can you name one player that came into the Eagles this year and made an impact enough to where you know his name at the lower levels?
No, not really. I mean, I can tell you a couple of guys who blew some stuff for us.
So you're not going to go buy merch. You're not going to tune in to see this guy play, and you're not going to do anything because he's at the lower level. You're not tuning in to watch the Eagles play. If you're a Chiefs fan, I don't know a lot about football, but I know the current situation. If you're a Chiefs fan, are you tuning in to watch the Chiefs? Yeah, you're a team. It's a team thing, so it's a bit of a different animal. But are you tuning in to watch the second string tight end play if you didn't go to high school with him or you have some connection with him? No,
nope, he does nothing.
No, you're tuning in. You're tuning in to fucking see Patrick Mahomes. And then there's levels to this shit, and people don't understand that. So guys that are fighting 3 times a year, making 12-12 on a 3-fight win streak, are making more than half the people on the fucking comments complaining about fighter pay.
And who are also stealing and pirating the event.
These are also the same people that call people casuals, and 2 comments later sit there and go, "Oh, well, they should fire the refs. The UFC, Dana should fire the fucking refs. I don't know why they hire these people."
Hey, you're always brutal with the casual fan. We need them. They
No. I'm not brutal. Look, I'm not brutal. Here's the thing. I'm not brutal with the casual fan. I understand that, much like me, I tiptoe around football. I kind of can tell you what's going on. I can have a conversation about football. You know what I'm saying? But the extent of my knowledge of football is the heyday of it. I played in high school, and there's the 95 Dallas Cowboys, who I was a fan of when I actually watched football. It's been all MMA for me for combat sports since 2011. But I still understand what's relevant. These people come in here and make these fucking comments. "Oh, Joe Pfeiffer's full of shit. He didn't hit harder than Francis Ngannou." Well, the narrative for us, who's been following a guy like Joey Pfeiffer, and we're going to fucking name drop him again, everybody can suck off. Joey Pfeiffer hits the way Joey Pfeiffer hits. That's been known on the regional level. Like, you're not doing, so you're going to sit there and you're going to call somebody else a casual, but you don't know who the fuck anybody was before 2013. I posted a picture of Kevin Randleman the other day and saw 6 or 8 guys that are constantly in the thing. "You're a fucking casual. You don't know MMA. You're a fucking Khabib dick rider. Blah, blah, blah." You don't know who fucking Kevin Randleman is. So if you're going to call somebody a casual, get the fuck off my feet. Like, it just irritates my fucking soul, because we need fans that tune in once a week. We need fans that tune in once a month. And we need people to carry on conversations. There's no rules to being a fucking fan, but you don't see anybody else anywhere else with this fucking fan base going, "Oh, Pat Mahomes smacked his fucking old lady," or he lets his old lady fuck other dude. Like, nobody gives a fuck, and it happens, and it's celebrity gossip, and it is what it is. But you got these fucktards in the comments that are casual, and then they're telling me that, "Oh, well, the UFC needs to fire the judges. This is ridiculous."
I think we just had our first host rant. Is that a thing? Is the host rant?
Price is pissed. That's what the fuck it is. Brought to you by Nose Slap. Code FightShow for 20% off here.
My God, we need a bring down sponsor. My God, Nose Slap's got this guy.
Yeah, no more stimulants for fucking daddy over here. No more fucking stimulants.
Yeah, it's I don't know. We'll be interested to see where that goes, man. What'd you think about PFL versus Bellator? What's your initial?
Clearly, Bellator won the night. I mean, I can't really. I don't know. I don't. Again. Oh, here we go. Frozen.
Did it do anything for you? The event? Were you blown away by it?
I don't know why am I frozen? Because I'm frozen on my end. What the fuck is going on?
Like Elsa. Here you go. It's warming you back up.
We'll try it.
Yeah, I'm not used to being on here solo. Listen, I know I've dropped a couple times off the show, but man, you can't drop a couple times off the show. Leave me hanging here by myself. All right, everybody. Garrett is having technical difficulties. He will pop back in a second here.
Oh,
there he is.
I froze, and I'm like, "Hey, Bill, I'm frozen," and you're just, I don't know what to do by myself. I had to like refresh the page.
Yeah, I'm like, I know you've carried the show for a couple minutes by yourself at times. I'm not equipped.
And they don't want to fucking hear that. You know, they don't want me here by myself. You're here. Yeah, you're not just here for your gorgeous, manly looks, and you're the second most famous ass in Pennsylvania MMA. Give me 1 second. I got a couple of things that always pop off here when I pop back out.
Yeah, I was about to start doing Angelo's pizza reviews here to kill time until you got back.
Brent has, you know what? I think we should make a rule that until Brent agrees to come on his deep throat and we hide his identity, and he talks about stuff, and he talks about stuff that's not related to any states that he judges in, that Brent's not allowed to comment anymore.
He's a character. He'd be fun to have on the show.
Look, this is like a theme of the fucking week. The themes of the week are Christy and Brent really love your ass. It's the second most famous ass in Pennsylvania MMA. And Brent is steadfast. He must have signed an NDA with Greg Serb. I don't know what the deal is. Greg can't hurt you anymore, Brent. Greg can't hurt you.
That's funny. But now PFL versus Bellator. Bellator.
I was saying. So
PFL only got another home win, right?
I'm glad that I am glad that Bellator got scooped up. I'm glad them guys over there, man. Like Viacom not pumping money into it. It wasn't. I don't think it was Scott Coker, man. I really don't, because you look back at Scott Coker with K1 and Strikeforce, and his track record is great. I just don't. I'm just glad that they're there. I know Johnny I watched the Johnny Eblen interview the other day, and Johnny Eblen said that there's some familiar faces, so I don't know who stayed and I don't know who left. But the production value is, from a production standpoint, just as good as anything else out there. I think that it's got potential to be there, but again, like I first alluded to when we started talking, you can't every turn. Don Davis went so far as to say, "Oh yeah, the Sphere in Vegas, we toured that before Dana did." Like, to me, that's just not a good look. Be a hustler, be an entrepreneur, be in the sports game. The guy's made millions of dollars, so he's hundreds of millions of dollars, so he's clearly doing everything right. But and I don't know if subconsciously we had that Ali Abdelaziz talk and the shit that was going on with Silva before PFL was WSOF and the shady shit that was going on. So I don't know if, like, subconsciously I'm like ingrained to just fuck the PFL, but say that, not do that. But when you got guys that we know, like Pat Brady fighting there, Mike Terrell, Daryl Horcher, guys that we've been fans of that have made it this far to the point of they're on that stage, like you can't overall hate the whole product. They got some things to work on. I think it's the age old thing of stay in your fucking lane. Mm-hmm. I think is really what it boils down to. And I think that MVP and Kayla Harrison both leaving in the same year when they had the opportunity to stay really speaks volumes, and it should to a lot of people.
Well, I'll tell you what, I like that the PFL takes their Friday night slot. I like mixed martial arts. I like a mixed martial arts weekend. I like Friday night PFL. I like I miss Spike TV when Bellator used to be on Spike. I miss their Thursday night cards. I miss Dana White's 10 Contender Series on Tuesday. I like active mixed martial arts, and yeah. Your buddy
Josh stopped in the comments real quick. I'll let you read this one. UFC fan that just now saw Piper have no idea the terror he is. MMA fans need to learn their role. You're on the couch getting winded from sneezing too hard. Just shut the fuck up and enjoy the sport. Great. One thing I am excited about, well, two things. I'm young and hip now, apparently, like my kids. I'm on Kick now only because the Game Bred Bare Knuckle is now exclusively on Kick. Oh, so really? last event we streamed it. It was on YouTube, so it was kind of easily accessible to everybody. But I just want to put it out there that the upcoming Game Bred card, Alan Belcher and Junior Dos Santos and Chase Sherman and Alex Nicholson is the main and the co-main on that. I'm super stoked for that. I'm stoked that it's getting the draw, that it's getting Icon's coming back. He just announced that he's bringing Icon back, so there's more stuff to watch. That, of course, is where Bo Nickel came through and cut his teeth. BKFC, shout out to OG Pennsylvania MMA combat sports promoter, friend of Bill's. We've been around for a minute since the Harris days. Dave Feldman just announced Knuckle Mania. First event in California. Mike Perry, Thiago Alves, and I was actually just chatting with Dave earlier today. And Bill's kind of already set this up because of their relationship, but I kind of fed off the strength of their relationship. But Dave Feldman has verbally confirmed he will be on. We got to figure out schedules because the guy is literally fucking everywhere. They're launching in multiple countries, and he's just doing the damn thing. So for those of you, and I think Josh might, if you said Josh has been around the sport for a little bit, Josh better than I do. I just know Josh from Facebook, but that's cool. He came up through Pennsylvania. I remember the Harris Casino days. It was one of the first MMA shows I ever went to.
Yeah, I remember when Dave back at the Harris Casino back in probably like 2011, 2012 was telling me, he was just a promoter that did stuff, local shows here. And I remember him telling me about this idea that he had for bare knuckle combat. And like, you know how you humor people. You're like, oh yeah, man, that sounds great. That sounds great. In the back of my head, I'm thinking it's never going to happen. Like the PA Athletic Commission is never going to allow that.
Well,
commissions will never take
it's
this
one thing
on.
to say. It's one thing to say it's never going to happen somewhere else. It's another thing to say it's never going to happen in Pennsylvania.
That is true. But to see what Dave Feldman has done, I don't know how he did it. I would love to hear his story on some of the most memorable, moments in his journey to get this thing where it's at. There had to be days where he just had the door slammed in his face and heard no like 20 fucking times. Like what finally got this rolling? I'd love to hear what pushed us over the top when that holy shit, how did I get here moment when he realized this thing's rolling. Like I can't believe
there's something special. And again, it's guys like Joe Pfeiffer, guys that, and we're deep. We roll with PA guys. The Jersey guys, excuse me, indigestion. The Jersey guys will claim them, but like that Mid-Atlantic, that whole Jersey, Delaware, Maryland's getting ready to pop off with Pat Pinella being out, but like we are steadfast supporters of these guys. And to be able to see Dave, who said in an interview today, and I saw the interview, it was on MMA Hour. If you guys want to go check that out, it was actually a really good interview. He talked about $262 in his bank account and getting ready to jump off a bridge.
Yeah. And
now he has quite possibly, outside of the UFC, WWE TKO thing that's going on, he has the fastest, probably the hottest growing sports property in combat sports right now, outside of the UFC. I mean, the growth that they're experiencing is kind of parallel to what PFL's doing. And maybe on different scales for different things like financials and stuff, it's different. But Dave's making moves.
I'll tell you what, I was a wrestler, and that's what always, intrigued me about mixed martial arts. I couldn't box for shit. And I'm like, I could take this guy down and beat him up. Like, here's my thing. There are combat sports fans that still don't enjoy the grappling part of it. And that's okay. If it's never been their cup of tea, whatever, there is a huge market for people out there who want to watch two guys stand in a phone booth, not a large fighting area, bare knuckle, and actually slug it out. They don't want to see kicks. They don't want to see takedowns. They don't want to see ground and pound, and that's fine. And man, Dave Feldman has found that market. He's found that niche. I love watching bare knuckle boxing. I watch a lot of mixed martial arts, but I like watching the bare knuckle stuff too.
Yeah. So if you're just tuning in, you want to jump in the comments. If you're in the comments, Christy just hit one, and I didn't see it. Always about Bill's ass. We know that kind of smut was coming from her.
Good ass. It's good ass.
Yeah, we just talked about it. Dave Feldman, verbally committed. He will be on here soon, president of BKFC. We were just chatting with him today. Bill's chatted with him in the last couple of weeks. Fight Show merch. We don't know what all it entails. It's still in the process. It is coming. We've talked about it. People have asked me about it. Fight Show merch is coming, and we actually have something that we just locked in. See, I don't feel bad now. You did it too. We have something. We have something else we just locked in this week. We got a discount code coming for you guys next week if you are an MMA apparel buyer. If you want to support your favorite fighters, and they don't have everybody, but it's officially licensed. It's a good stuff. We got stuff on the way from them. So we will drop that next week. 20% off code for you guys through them. We don't want to say nothing yet. We want to see the goods, show you the goods, and see where we're at before we recommend it to you guys. And other than that, man, we've been doing a lot of housekeeping stuff. That's out of the way. I guess, do you want to anything else before we kind of dip into last week's, which was a very good card? Like, I have no complaints. There's a lot of stuff going around this week. Do you want less MMA cards but make them better, or do you want MMA every week and it doesn't matter? Well, yeah, it don't fucking matter because
give it to me every week, man. I'm a junkie. Give it to me every week.
Every fucking got more of that.
Yeah, you got any more of those MMA fights?
You got any more of that MMA, Dana?
It's funny. I get the reference, man. That's great.
43 events last year. 43 weeks we had MMA last year. Actually, no, I'm sorry. 40. What did we say? 43 out of 52 weeks. Yeah, 43 out of 52 weeks last year we had MMA, and Bill still wasn't good enough for old.
Sounds like 9 weeks. They were being lazy as shit.
Fucking Mannheim Strangler is utterly disappointed in you, Dana White. Get the fucking oil.
Yeah, how could you do this to me?
Damn it, Dana. All right.
Let's recap that last week. Let's see what happened, because I was watching a lot of those fights.
Hey, there's Bill Bookwalter's post reminding you guys to watch Fight Show live on Facebook.
I'm trying to do better, man. I'm learning the Facebook.
I appreciate you. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this fucking nose. Tell you what, producing and fucking co-hosting this. We need to get a fucking producer. I'm tired of this shit. And sure as fuck ain't gonna be you. Let me go down
It
here.
shouldn't be me.
We'll go bigger here. We'll go to this past week. UFC.com, guys. If you haven't ever checked this out, it's resourceful. The argument of who won what between the UFC and Tapology. Anybody talking shit that they don't know is right. You can prove them wrong. Anyways, Moreno Royval at Altitude, Mexico City. This was last Saturday. T-City.
Yeah, he did his thing. He made that look easy, bro. And he did more damage to himself at the beginning of the fight than he already started himself out down 1-0.
I'm not, you know what, this is gonna be one of them weeks. This is gonna be one of them weeks where, like I said, everybody that makes the walk gets respect, but this we'll just go back up here.
Yeah, we'll do the main card. Fuck it.
Krista, it depends. It changes, varies. If you're first time tuning in here, this whether we cover the main card or the prelims varies depending on Bill's week. Because the weeks I want to cover the prelims, he's like, fuck that, and the weeks, vice versa, you get it. But Manuel Torres, Chris Duncan, I did not catch that one, but apparently Torres got a performance of the night.
Okay.
I don't know. Did you catch? You didn't catch that one either.
No, I was not on that one. I'll tell you where I tuned in. I want to say, where the hell did we watch? We were somewhere. I can't even remember where the hell we were, but I was watching these fights somewhere. So it must have been a good night. I must have had the drinks flowing.
Was that when you went? That wasn't the same weekend you went to the boxing fight and ran into Micah, was it?
It was. That was.
Speaking of that, we didn't. So Bill's. You want to tell everybody? Well, here we'll go back out of this and we can just.
No. Let's recap the card,
right.
then we'll hit that story in the middle, and then we can move forward to the oncoming card. So
good segue, Bill. Good segue. You're learning. I know you didn't learn that in a production meeting, but anyways,
yeah.
I saw this fight, unanimous decision. Wasn't very impressed. Shout out to everybody that makes the walk. Zellhuber and Prado. Zellhuber's a problem. And for those of you that don't know, he trains out at Extreme Couture out there with America's champion Sean Strickland, Chris Curtis, Pat Brady occasionally. Kid's a problem, dude.
You look sharp. Yeah, we were probably watching my buddy box that night. And yeah, I ran into Mike Terrell, but we did not see these first couple fights. But yeah, I definitely saw this one, man. I tuned in for this one. I don't know, man. Yair Rodriguez. What did you think of this fight?
I think Yair Rodriguez, and again, I always preface this. He made it to the UFC. He's at the level he's at. I think there's just some guys that kind of hit it, and then it's cool. It is what it is. You made it to the top. You made it to the echelon of the sport. Like, I get it. Like, sometimes guys hang around mid-ranking, mid-tens, and that's their rest of their career. I don't know if we see Yair Rodriguez, and I'm hoping to eat my words. I'm hoping he comes back next week next time he fights with a flying spinning heel kick knockout. And it's fucking highlight of the year. Is
Yair Rodriguez one of these guys that you have to strategically match, because if you give him the wrong matchup, he'll lose? I mean, for those that didn't watch the fight, Brian Ortega was jumping as he was introduced. I mean, rolled his ankle pretty bad. He was hurt, and Ortega took some shots. But then once Ortega took Rodriguez down, and now granted, we're talking these are the best guys in the world at this. So I'm not saying Rodriguez is a slouch, but I'm saying at this level, it doesn't look like he could handle a grappler at all, man. I mean, the blueprint is out on how to beat this guy, get him to the ground, and he really doesn't know how to get back up. So, I mean, now, what do you do if you're Rodriguez? Because you kind of been exposed. I don't really know at his age. Yeah, I know he's younger, but I don't know if you can catch up that lack of grappling to say, hey, he can, be in the top 5 or ever contend for a title. Has he peaked, or can he make some significant enough progression in the grappling department to actually contend for a title one day?
I think he's a bit of a draw, and if they want to keep him in the top 10, I mean, he's a bit of a draw regionally. I think you're going to see some things change with the PI coming to Mexico. I think that's going to make a little bit of a difference on some stuff. But
it'll take a few years. It'll take a few years.
Well, I mean, they've already been working. I don't know why my camera keeps getting adjusted. They've already been working So I think you're only seeing what you're seeing on the surface now. I think there's definitely a little bit more of an infrastructure there than that, and I think you're going to see a surge of Mexicans come through in the next little bit.
Well, I'll say it's when you look at the elite fighters in the UFC, these Russians have been wrestling. They're going to keep wrestling. So if you want to get to the top in the UFC, you better catch up your wrestling. So, but yeah, as far as Rodriguez, man, I don't know.
It's hard to tell, but shout out to T-City. He's going through some shit. I'm happy for him. He's genuinely a good dude from everybody I've heard that's had personal experiences with him. He's definitely a good dude. So
he is. It seems that way. So
this one shocked me a little bit. Again, Royval already fought for a title, but sometimes that happens, and that's the only time it ever happens. But Royval definitely did enough. I mean, could have probably done more, but considering who he was fighting against,
yeah,
give him a little nod of the hat on that one.
A lot of people online, they had mixed. I could tell it was a close fight there. We saw the first couple rounds, and I was like, "Oh, Moreno has this." Well, I guess because Moreno Moreno won the first few rounds, and then all of a sudden he just couldn't put that next round together to go up 3-2.
I feel like he won 2.
Well, who knows how the judges scored it, but I'm saying what I'm reading.
No, I'm not going. I'm just looking off here from watching it and then just trying to think it back.
Royval's best chance in that fight was to slow down, not over-engage, and hope to get out of there with a close decision win, and that's exactly what the hell he did.
Considering he was fighting Brandon Moreno and the caliber of fighter that Brandon Moreno is, who's definitely made the most of his second trip around with his contract here to the UFC, or second trip to the UFC.
In that weight class, there's been Pantoja and Moreno. Those are like the two, and then there's everybody else.
Well, Figgy, once Figgy left, it was kind of like John Jones leaving light heavyweight. You had a small sampling, but then it's always fresh and exciting when shit like that happens because you get to
so I mean, no matter how it happened, Royval inserted himself in that top 3, and I don't know. I guess now I would guess you give Royval a rematch against Pantoja. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. But who else? I mean, they're so far ahead of the rest of the weight class. Who would you have Pantoja fight besides Brandon Royval? I don't know. He deserves a second crack at that, I guess, because you obviously can't give Moreno a title shot now.
If you just look at, we'll go with the top 10 here, and I'll throw it back up real quick.
And these are all talented fighters. I'm not shitting on anybody, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, we're not.
Moreno have been heads and tails ahead of everybody else.
There's certain division where the last half of the top 15 honestly doesn't matter at this point. It might. I'm not saying they don't matter. I'm saying in the drastic moves that might go on in the division, like Manel Cape just pulled out of a fight, but he's sitting here ranked number 6. What do you do with a guy like that who's got continual weight misses? He's a bit of a draw. You're getting ready to make the move into South Africa with DDP. I think they're kind of just backburnering him for a little bit. I definitely think that his progression getting towards Pantoja or whoever has the belt should be slowed because you're not acting like a fucking professional, dude. When you get to that level, let's act like a fucking professional. But I mean, if you look, I know Matt Snell's getting ready to fight. I believe on this week card, we'll check that out. Matt Snell's getting ready to fight. Tim Elliott just had a fight.
Yeah, I thought he got choked out by. I thought he got beat by somebody who was very good. Who's 4, 5, and 6 in that weight class?
Kai Car France.
Nah.
Nicolau.
A sparring machine. A point sparring machine. Kai Car France. Okay. Who else?
Yeah. Nicolau and Cape.
I'm not hurrying to my cable company to order any pay-per-view that those guys are on, or on the main card, or on the co-main or main event.
I think it's funny that you always lie that you actually pay for these fucking pay-per-views.
Dude, always honest, always. All right. Captain Jack Sparrow over here.
You didn't get the memo? We're pirates.
Yeah, at least I'm not one of those guys that complains about fighter pay and then illegally streams like every UFC card that's ever been on.
No, we pay for them, guys. We pay for them.
I'm like, yeah, if you think about it, the UFC pays pretty well. Dana White.
Sorry to all our friendly people that we know and are affiliated with and friends of the show that fight for the PFL or Bellator, but We don't pay for those fun cards. He's an MMA fan now. You can't illegally stream on Facebook anymore. Anyways, no. Yeah, so you went down to Baltimore over the weekend, fight show on the road.
Correct. I will be wearing my Fight Show T-shirt next time.
Coming soon, guys.
A buddy of mine. I'll give you the full background on it. A buddy of mine from here in Lancaster. He was 5-1 pro MMA, 2-0 as a professional boxer in his weight class, and he's a gamer, man. This guy's 35. He's trying to link up with Mr. David Feldman to do some shit in Philly later on this year. I won't blow his wad, or I want to have him on the show here in a couple weeks because he's a good friend of mine, man. Real good dude, trains hard, top notch professional. Well, anyway, he took a fight on 3 days' notice against a stud from Maryland, Moscow, Moscow. And I guess he is from Micah Terrell's gym, or he's affiliated with the, is it the Crazy 88 or Crazy 88 guys? Who is it down there? Ground Control? Might be, I forget what boxing.
Micah's his hot box.
Okay, I'm not sharp with the boxing gyms down there. Vince Moscow was the guy's name, okay?
Yeah, I've heard the name around the Maryland MMA scene for the last decade. Well, I don't know if he's been around for a decade. But
my friend was asked to save that fight on it. Moscow sold a lot of tickets. I mean, there was people there to see him. The people think this kid has a future. Young, powerful, big dude.
Hold up. Are you saying Moscow, like the city in Russia?
I believe it is.
Moscow.
Oh, Moscow. Yes, Vince Moscow. You are correct. 1,000% correct. Okay. I stand corrected. Brought to you by Bud Light. Anyway,
he's 3 beers deep, guys. Pray for us.
It wasn't Moscow. Okay, it was Vince Moscow. Okay, he my buddy got offered this fight on 3 days' notice. Nobody's gonna fight this dude on 3 days' notice. I'm sure Moscow sold a ton of tickets.
Moscow. I'm gonna correct you every time. Moscow.
He had some support there, so I'm sure the promoter, in order to save the fight, did what he had to do to bring a guy in. You know what I mean? And my buddy, he's no slouch. I mean, he's a top-notch professional, and he was just outsized. He came up a weight class, took a nice payday on 3 days' notice. He was in shape. He beat Moscow. Vince Moscow.
Moscow. There's an A on the end. Moscow.
Hit my buddy on the chin. You saw the knees buckle. My buddy took a knee, answered the ref's 8 count, and then Moscow swarmed, and the referee did a good job stopping the fight. I mean, you could see there was a size difference and a class mismatch. Well, anyway, when I was there, I see this guy walking around. I'm like, hey, man, this guy. I'm like, oh shit, Micah Terrell. So I went up and Christy got some pictures of us. She apparently sent me you and shit like that. It was good catching up.
See me.
Yeah, Micah see me Terrell. Yeah. He was there. He had his bare knuckle prospects match down there in Virginia.
How'd that go? Did you talk to him about it? I want to have him on. I got to reach out to him. I haven't. I reached out to him right after the fight, but he was busy.
No, he got beat second round.
I know. I was watching live on the internet. I reached out to him immediately after, but you know how that goes when you come off a loss. So I just.
I
gave anything to say about it?
No. You know what? It was one of those things. I just was catching up with an old buddy. I know how it is. I didn't want to. The first thing I'd say, oh yeah, I saw you took a loss, tough. But yeah, I just wanted to catch up with my buddy. I didn't like even my guy.
We'll have him back.
Even my friend that got beat, I gave him a couple days. I texted him the other day just to make sure he's all right. It's like that funny saying BJ Penn or whoever it was said. He said everybody loves you when you win. Nobody likes a loser. He said the one boxer, I forget who it was, famous quote. He said, yeah, after I won, he said, I'd have like 2,000 text messages on my phone. After I lost, he said, I had 5 missed calls. 2 of them were from my mom and 3 of them were wrong numbers.
Yeah, you always make everybody wants out to the guys.
Everybody wants to congratulate you on top. So I texted my buddy. He's in good spirits. He's already got his next fight lined up. He kind of knew he was getting in there to try and, he was trying to win, but, it was a nice payday for short notice, but he'll be back. I'd like to have him on the show. Like I said, I'll name drop him when he's coming on the show. So, but I'd like to have him on. So, but yeah, Micah Terrell, it was good seeing him. I saw, a couple other guys that I recognized from the MMA scene down there in boxing and shit. I encourage all of our MMA fighters, take some pro boxing fights. Why the hell wouldn't you? You're in shape. You can punch. Get in there, man. Mix it up. This is the time of your life,
Well, unless you're Ryan Hall. If you're Ryan Hall.
Okay, touche. But there is a guy out there that Ryan Hall could beat in professional boxing. That I assure you.
Look, Ryan Hall's a killer, and 50-50 down there is a great place. Like, shout out to Ryan Hall. He's a DMV guy. We claim him with our little PA cult that we have going on here. But
yeah, dude, I can. We'll segue on that. We'll bring that on another show. But where the hell is that guy been, man? I liked watching Ryan Hall fight. I mean, my God, the guy looks like a math tutor. You know what I mean? And
Ilya,
he's out there competing.
His last fight was Ilya, wasn't it?
It was, and then I don't know what the hell happened. I think the UFC was looking to get rid of him because he's not very marketable as far as like co-main event or main eventing a thing, but he can beat dudes, which is a bad mix, you know.
Yeah.
If you're gonna derail my prospects, I at least need to be able to sell you on pay-per-view. You know, if you bring this weird, awkward fighting style, you know, I mean, like I said, look, you look like a math tutor. I can't have you knocking off my prospects that could potentially headline pay-per-views for me. You know, so but we'll get to that another show. I'd love to reach out to Ryan Hall and ask him where the hell he's been. I remember seeing that guy on the grappling scene back in 2008, 2009 at Nagas and shit, way before he ever had MMA fights.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Maybe possibly he's a real private guy, but maybe we could even get Ryan Hall on the show. We'll see.
No, we can probably. I think I can make a couple inroads on that. I think one of the first podcasts I was ever on was a guy that trains down that way with him. So I'll reach back. The old Fighters Drinking Coffee podcast. That was
I'd have to hit Kenny Savercool up. Be like, Kenny, what's up, brother? I know he's an instructor out there at 50-50 for Ryan Hall, and I have all the Ryan Hall DVDs here on the grappling one. Yeah, I'd love to know what happened to that guy, but we can get that on another show. But yeah, it was good catching up with Micah Terrell. You know, I'd love to have him back on the show. Just hear what's next. You know, hear what he's thinking and shit. So
yeah, I want to hear. If anybody's going to give an accurate assessment of what happened, I think, you know, Micah will tell you flat out. If the guy got hit and Micah felt some type of way about it, Micah will tell you. He's not going to sit here and fluff it up and, oh, I tripped and did this or I had a bad, you know, that's not Micah, man. It's not his style. So shout out to Micah.
He's a competitor, man. You know,
he's been around the game for a minute. I'm stoked to see what happens with this amateur scene in Maryland. It's been far for all of us that bitch about Greg Serb in Pennsylvania for over a decade. Maryland and Pat Pinello, they had it worse, I think, than we did.
Oh, by far. By far.
I don't think I know.
Yeah, by far.
So,
no, I'd like to see. Listen, hand to God, I would like to see the MMA scene in Maryland explode. I would like to see promoters pop up everywhere. I'd like to see the commission work with the promoter to give him the ability to throw a profitable show, so he throws more shows. You know,
and we talked about this when I came back from the Pittsburgh trip to 247. Production's great, show's great. It's the depth of the area. I ran into it in New York when I promoted upstate New York. I ran into it. If I kind of felt the same vibe in Pittsburgh when I was out there, and it's not a shout out to, it's not anybody, no disrespect. It's just the depth of the region of where you're at. Maryland is like the exact opposite. I remember when we worked those strike-off shows in Virginia, man, how many times did you either ref a fight? And again, you were a consummate professional. I'm not saying you even ever did this, but how many times were you more inclined at those strike-off shows with the, as far as the regional shows go, to either stop what you were doing and pay attention, or, you know, learn about a new fighter based on something you saw that night? Because there were some guys down there like the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, guys coming out of like Jason Farrell's gym, training guys that used to train with Micah, you know, guys from Ground Control down there, which shout out to John Rollo. Like,
no, you guys, the Virginia, Maryland area had some talent, but they didn't have the shows. They didn't have the opportunity. Like Maryland, right? We would throw more shows in a month in Pennsylvania than Maryland would throw in a year. Yeah, it was like that. There's just very limited opportunities. And they did, dude. I remember being down there in the Virginia, Maryland area. Sadiq Youssef, who's in the UFC, I remember him fighting a couple times down there.
He fought a couple times to strike off.
Elder Ramos was down there a few times. I mean, he was a real talented guy. This guy, you may or may not know him. His name was, they called him Raz. I don't know his full name, but I mean, he was this like Indian looking guy, had a beard and goatee. I mean, real strong grappling,
Yeah, he
top-heavy
trained.
guy.
Yeah, he trained. He was a wrestler from. I'm not. You know what? He's
You're
one of
gonna
them
murder
guys.
his country's name. Yeah, you're gonna
He's
murder
one
his
of them
country.
guys. If it's who I'm thinking you're talking about, he used to train down there at Kaizen with Sensei Neiman and them. Shout out to Kaizen MMA. Yeah, he was
That's
a
the guy.
Kaizen
Yeah,
guy.
they had some talent down there. They just needed the shows to grow the
Long
talent.
before this was before Khabib was a household name. He was the wrestler with the beard on the East Coast.
Yes.
Like I think he ran their wrestling classes. He was
Okay,
solid.
yep.
He was just insane.
And I forget his real name. I'm not going to butcher it, but yeah, no, he was a real solid fighter. Yeah, I remember. And Virginia is where I started, man. You know, Virginia and Maryland. Before it was ever, people don't remember it. It was illegal here in PA. Like you couldn't throw shows before 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
And I would love to see the powers that be down in Maryland. I don't think they were huge mixed martial arts fans, so there was no real drive. Like Greg Serb worked hard to get mixed martial arts legalized here in PA. He really did. He was for it. I mean, and Greg Serb was like a 30-year boxing guy. Okay. But he liked combat sports. Greg Serb actually, I believe, wrestled at, I believe it was Edinburgh, which is like, that's a no joke collegiate wrestling program. So he had a background in wrestling and, mixed martial arts and stuff like that. He worked hard to get that put here because nobody was chomping at the bit back in 2009 saying, hey, we got to get this done. But now that we're here we are 12, 13 years later, if I could hear that Maryland is getting their stuff together to help promoters out, hopefully we don't have the PA thing where, we had a lot of bugs back in the beginning and, it was a little difficult to throw a show and, a lot of guys lost money trying to throw shows because they didn't know what they were doing. Hopefully the Pat Pinella and the Athletic Commission down there can help these guys out to give these guys more opportunity to fight in front of their family and friends. And yeah, I'd go check out some Maryland MMA.
I could say being in the DMV area, and first of all, and this is kind of, we were talking about this earlier at BKFC. I'm glad Feldman realized his dream. I'm so stoked to be able to talk to him soon as we can get it on here. Mm-hmm. But that's bridging the gap for me with boxing. Like I would catch the old school stuff as a kid, but when it was like the spectacle, like you're talking like the Tyson fights and you'd be somewheres or at a family member's house and they'd have it on. BKFC for me bridged the gap. Honestly, like, and there's people that are going to give me shit for this and I really don't give a fuck. I'll see you in the comments. Jake Paul, the whole Jake Paul influencer thing kind of from a business perspective. And, I look at things from a fan, from a somebody that's been involved in the sport through different facets. Like I have different lenses that I look through stuff in, honestly, like to go down a rabbit hole with. And BKFC bridged the gap for me. The influencer boxing kind of bridged the gap for me. Like same thing with Muay Thai, like going down there to level up and hitting the spar sessions he had down there, like the 24-hour spar, all the little smoker fights and the exhibitions and all the stuff that Jason Farrell does down there to get back to the sport. Like, man, it opened my eyes a little bit. And because when I started training in this sport, I trained with some Muay Thai guys that were complete fucking dicks. So in my head, like, just like all football players are dumb jocks, all Muay Thai guys were fucking assholes. Like they just didn't respect what we were doing on the ground and, me falling in love with jiu-jitsu the way I did. But like, shout out to these guys that are constantly giving back to the sport. Like you got guys like John Rollo and Jason Farrell in Maryland doing it right every day for the sport, giving back to the sport, carrying themselves as consummate professionals. So I'm hoping we see a lot of movement here. I'm hoping the whole Muay Thai scene, like I was talking to, remember Shane Snyder?
Mm-hmm.
Runs Nomad, under Otwell and Joe Stripling and them guys. Yep. He was talking about the lack of Muay Thai and the ability to get his guy Muay Thai fights and the ability, I want to see them guys be able to grow because, as much as I think most Muay Thai guys are dicks, it's just a joke. I think that it deserves its shine, and it's definitely more prevalent now than it was 10 years ago. There wasn't Muay Thai shows when I was coming up through, you know what I'm saying? It first started as a fan and then got into the sport. Once I get into the sport, I realized the accessibility to it. But even in our area, there wasn't a lot of Muay Thai. You had Irv up there in
Irv Althouse. Yep. Well, I'll tell you what, for anybody that is listening or has friends in the sport, CFFC has recently bridged into the Muay Thai market. So you guys are looking for your, maybe you didn't wrestle 12 years growing up, as a kid, but you like to punch and kick and elbow. explore the avenue for Muay Thai through CFFC. So, yeah, I like Muay Thai. I watch that.
I watch. I'm opening myself up a little bit more to catch into some of this stuff and pay attention a little bit to it, because just the fact of the way the combat sports is growing, I'm stoked. I don't watch any other sports. There's not a whole hell of a lot of people that'll sit there and watch submission only jiu-jitsu for 3 hours on a Saturday when there's no fights, but I'm that guy. So
hey, it comes with the subscription, right? You might as well watch it.
No, even before I had a Fight Pass subscription, I used to pay for the Metamoris events because I like what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I remember them. But yeah, man, I'm hoping Maryland. We'll have to check out. I'll get with you online after the show. We'll have to see when the next. I got a couple friends I think are squaring up on the next Shogun down there for John Rollo. How far away are you from their downtown? He throws those at the Mariner Center at Baltimore, right?
I
down there by the harbor. I mean, it's a big show.
Did he do one at Maryland? Did he do one at Maryland Live? I don't remember if he did one at Maryland Live or not, but I mean, same distance, pretty much same.
We went to Maryland Live to check out that boxing match. That's a good place to throw a show. That's a real good place to throw a show. Yeah. Plenty of parking, real controlled area, security, lighting cameras, easy in, easy out. It's good. I hope he does it there. Yeah, we'll have to check it if my schedule allows for it. I'll come on down and check out next Shogun if you're down to go. I think it's in March.
I'm always down to go. I was supposed to go to like 2 of the last 3 Micah Terrell fights, and I didn't get a chance to. Strictly to go down to support Micah, and I just, with everything that was going on in my personal life, I just couldn't do it at the time. So
Brent just let me know he is assigned to the next Shogun, so I'm sure we'll see him down there. It'd be a perfect opportunity to get down there. It'd be good to catch up with Brent. I haven't seen him in a little bit, so yeah, I'd like to go down to that.
Brent, I know Rollo a little bit. I'm an acquaintance of John Rollo. We're gonna need some media passes for that dog, because after going the media route, I'm gonna say this thing has its perks, bro. Because how many times has you as a fan been to an event and you end up with a absolute shit seat?
Yeah, a couple times. Yeah.
One of the first CFFC shows I ever went to at the 2300, I was like, motherfucking pole. It wasn't even in a corner. It was in like some weird off, and you couldn't.
Something in the corner of my head is telling me that Brent Colflesh used to train at ground control a couple days or something. I could be wrong. I'm wrong often, actually. Very wrong. My DraftKings and FanDuel account says so. So, but I think Brent was somehow tied in with them.
He who should not be named should get us media passes, because I'm never going back to general admission again. Never. Never.
But yeah, we'll get
he who should not be named says he never traded ground control. He just knows people. Well, he didn't say that. I added the last.
Okay, I thought he had a connection to people down there on some level. I couldn't quite remember what it was.
So. He's that fucking dude, bro. He probably knows everybody. Low key.
But yeah. So what do we got? What do we got coming up this weekend, man? Let's preview this card real quick.
Are you ready for this?
Go ahead.
You've been waiting all those times you bitched and cried and complained that Dana wasn't giving you enough MMA. Fucking this one right here, bud.
All right.
I'm stoked. I'm kind of stoked for this, low key. It's a decent card. It's a decent card. Pedro Petrino is probably the fight I'm looking most forward to on this card.
Petrino wipes the floor with that dude. I'm wrong a lot. This isn't one of them.
I don't know, man.
This isn't one of them. That Petrino guy is a monster.
That little Khabib cousin's fighting the one that can't get a fight.
Apparently, I bet you that fight. I bet you $1 that fight falls apart.
Do you remember a time? This is going to sound kind of corny, but it's going to be a little bit. But I'm going to get into it. I think it's going to resonate a little bit. Do you remember a time back in the day before you were like fully balls deep in this sport, reffing, fighting, and all that? Do you remember like how hard MMA content was to like get? Like you got bits and pieces of it, right? So Matt Snell, and the only reason I watched this show back in the day, Matt Snell was a part of this MTV reality show, and I don't even remember the year. This was when he was still fighting on the regional scene.
I hated that show. Yes. Yeah, I remember.
Matt Snell was on that show. The only reason I watched it is because it was MMA related content, and it was kind of and again, for what it's worth, it was definitely an MTV. They had their little production shit, and it definitely got juiced up a little bit to make it more sexy than it really is. But like, I remember like going to shows, and that was one of the like right after I had been to a backstage at a show. So as a fan and as somebody who trained the sport and kind of could relate to it, it was I don't know, it was kind of cool for me. But anyways, Matt Snell had a little bit of fame back in the day. I'm glad to see he's number 9. Definitely got skills. I definitely am just, like I said, I'm stoked to see him with a number next to his name. So I'm going to be stoked for that one too.
Matt Snell did have one of the greatest comebacks in UFC history. He fought some. The guy was of Asian descent. That guy had Snell dead to rights, and somehow Snell came back and beat him, finished him. So I remember that Matt Snell's a gamer. He is.
Your boy Eric Anders.
Your boy, yeah. Jamie, hold on. Let's start from the bottom up.
Are we going to the prelims this time?
Yeah. Let's go to prelims. I recognize a couple names down there.
I haven't been paying much attention to this card other than like the Pedro Petrino, Matt Schnell.
Let's scroll back down a little bit. Like, I don't recognize the first few, but there was one.
We're
there.
We're going to go till Bill recognizes somebody.
Basharat, yeah. He was finishing a ton of people before he came in the UFC, and then Javid Basharat, and he has a brother. I'm not going to murder his first name here, but the Basharat brothers. But they're like both combined. They're 6-0 in the UFC, I think, with like 6 decision wins. They play it safe. Like, I don't know. They got to the UFC. They might have one of them might have finished.
Wait a minute.
Somebody.
Isn't this the Israeli? It's the brothers that fight from Israel, right?
Possibly. That sounds right.
Hold on. We're going to, because you know what? I just was getting ready to say something to you. And if I'm not mistaken, because I can't keep up with everybody, I want to see something. Where does it say? No, he's fighting out of England. Why do I feel...
They call him I believe that's the Snow Leopard. Is that his nickname or something like that?
Yeah, that's him. But here's, and there's been a lot of talk, and people have been talking about it. It's come up a lot of times on social. The flag issue, right? So you got the flag issue, and some guys are allowed to do flags, and now they're taking flags away and they're giving flags back. And I know your pet peeve is guys with fucking pictures, but do you notice something missing? You see what I'm saying? So I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole, but it was for a reason. Do you see what's missing?
Weird. Right? Yeah, like why? I don't get it. I don't understand it. And yeah, why is he not allowed to have his flag there?
I just want to see. Jamie, pull that up. We'll get. Maybe I'm wrong. No, okay, it's not him. It's Levy. Levy is the only active one. So conspiracy theory. Let me take my Alex Jones hat off for a minute, and I don't want to.
Listen, you son of a bitch. What the fuck's your problem?
Sorry, guys. Disregard everything we just talked about for the last 3 minutes.
Like playing it
is. It's fun. Hit it with the nose slap. Javid Basharat, you said, what are your thoughts on that before I went down a weird rabbit hole?
Oh, no, I was just saying that him and his brother are both very good, but they're like playing it real safe in the UFC. They're not putting themselves in danger. I believe they're 6-0 with 6 decision wins. I believe they're both 3-0. I think they might have one finish, but these guys are they're sneaky sharp. So I'm surprised to see him on the prelims. To be honest with you, I thought he'd be a little bit higher, and I thought they'd give him a little deeper competition at 3-0. But we'll see. Basharat should get that one. I can't see the odds on there. What is it, like minus 500-ish? Like
+6 for Zahabi. But here's the caveat with that. And I thought the name sounded familiar. And again,
yeah,
I don't
follow his brother.
Yeah, it's Faraz's little brother. Who, if you don't know who Faraz Zahabi is, you're probably calling somebody a casual in the comments.
Trains a lot of strikers. Has trained a lot of top-notch strikers in the UFC.
The premier mixed martial arts coach out of Canada. Has worked with John Danaher, Gordon Ryan, GSP, most famously, I believe, Rory McDonald. Who are these people, you ask? Oh, you've probably only been watching the sport since 2015. Sit down and shut up.
And that's okay. We like
and that's okay, but don't talk shit to other people. Anyways.
All right, let's scroll up. I don't know either one of those two. I'm not even going to pretend like I do.
That guy's from Albania. Shout out. Right. Everybody there's a fucking gangster.
Yeah.
Your boy, Eric Anders, Jamie Pickett. Jamie Pickett, who was the last fight of Jamie Pickett?
Jamie Pickett and I used to fight together at Onslaught Fights. I remember I was in his locker room one time down at Winchester, Virginia. Jamie Pickett's been around for a while and a day.
Onslaught.
I always thought that as good an athlete as he is and stuff, I always thought he was going to do a little bit better. But I mean, he has been around in the UFC for a while. But He
Hold on,
seems
you
to
got
be.
one slot, Winchester, Virginia.
Yep.
Was that pre-Revolution days down there in the fire hall?
Yeah, you probably they don't show his amateur record here on UFC.com, but yeah, no, that was we used to fight the Winchester Sportsplex down there.
No, okay, yeah, no. Revolution was at the fire hall. We had a couple guys come through there. I cornered a couple guys down there.
Oh, Tapology might show it. Yeah, that was Onslaught Fights back in like 2000.
Look, Jamie. Look, you may not have Jamie, but you got me. Okay, bud. So we keep it. Why did I spell? I spelled his name completely fucking wrong because I got fat fingers.
Yeah, it was old school. He I forget who the hell he beat that night, but yeah,
I spelled it wrong again.
He dusted him. But yeah, Pickett, most famously known for getting kneed in the balls by a Bo Nickel.
Okay,
it was a low blow. The referee just missed it. I understand why the UFC could not run that fight back. They couldn't do it at that point, you know.
Yeah, no, he
go back to 2010 to his amateur stuff.
I'm at 2008. Excuse me, god damn. Virginia Regional. Oh, okay, he fought Kenny Gaudreau. I remember that name coming up through. Chris Frazier. I remember that name coming up through from down there. Okay.
Yeah, good to go, Kenny Gaudreau. I remember him.
I knew I couldn't, like I said, one of the things where I couldn't place the name because I'm not that encyclopedia type of guy. So
yeah, Jamie's been around for a while. If he doesn't win this one, he is likely gone though. I mean, he's the guy they're feeding to everybody for a win lately. He hasn't had a highlight moment. Oh, this one's good. Schnell versus Erceg. Erceg's no joke. You know, Matt Schnell is no spring chicken. Matt Schnell's been around for a minute. Erceg is an up-and-comer. Grappler, who we got? Okay, now this fight doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what the UFC is doing. I'm sure they have a plan. I'm just seeing 4 digits next to the minus on Umar Nurmagomedov. I'm guessing he's like minus 1,400 or some shit.
Minus 12 plus 750 for Beckcott.
Yeah.
However, there's the narrative of nobody will fight this guy that the little Khabib cousin keeps saying.
No, then you know what? He should be on the main card at a pay-per-view right before the co-main event against somebody ranked. It's not that nobody will fight him. Somebody will fight him for the right payday. Or somebody will fight him saying, you know, if you told like a Corey Sandhagen type, you're not getting your title shot unless you beat this guy. Corey would fight him. It's just, you know, a matter of this fight does not make sense to me, man. I don't understand it. I don't understand it on a UFC fight night.
You know what? His brother, I always get this fucked up. His brother, I've been following more, which is Usman, which is the one that just got popped for the prescription in Bellator that was supposed to fight Primus.
Mm-hmm.
But they're the brothers. Khabib's the cousin. But I think I want to see.
I do believe you will see Usman in the UFC before too much longer. I think that's going to happen.
I don't. Well, and again, this is going back to Dana saying things and then not following through. But Usman was involved. He was the one that jumped the cage and slugged McGregor. One of the ones that jumped the cage and came into McGregor.
Possibly.
And he said he will never fight in the UFC, which could be the reason why you don't see him there. I'm not saying that's the case.
Yeah, nobody believes that shit. No, like if it makes financial dollars for the company, Dana will do it.
Yeah.
Like nobody's buying that shit. But yeah, that fight doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand if they're just trying to give Umar a highlight, or it definitely is not relevant to the title picture at all. If
Bill,
yeah,
he's going. They don't have.
Yeah, I don't like that, man. That's a scary looking black guy right
there. that's hey guys, Brett Coleflex is on the show. He's right.
Yeah, right.
We finally got him. 17-0. So I don't know.
I don't understand.
One by submission.
Yeah, but he's knocking out Uber drivers in Uzbekistan. You know, it's like I don't understand the fight, but we'll see.
I'm going to put $1 on Beckcott to catch an uppercut while Umar's coming in for a WrestleFuck takedown. Dagestani Bear wrestler.
It could happen. I don't understand the fight. Muhammad Makayev versus Alex Perez. I don't think Perez has the wrestling or the ability to beat Makayev, but we will see.
We will see. He's some numbers changing.
He's one of those Russians from the UK that sucks at grappling or something. You know, these Russians, they struggle with wrestling. So,
you know what? He's not taking care of his beard good enough. I think that's what it is.
There you Victor Petrino versus Tyson Pedro. Dude, this Petrino guy is off the Dana White Contender Series. He is an absolute fucking monster, dude. Throws heavy heat, big as fuck. Tyson Pedro is in the UFC. Congrats. He has no grappling. He's going to try and strike it out with Petrino. And, man, I thought I watched Petrino's last fight. And that guy, dude, he is a big ass motherfucking athlete. Like for real. He's a lot to handle. You know, I wouldn't want to fight. I wouldn't want to fight the guy. There's a lot of ways he seems like he could hurt you. So
Tyson Pedro 10-4.
Yeah, like I said, anybody in the UFC.
5 of the hey fella, 5 of the 10 is by submission. So
really, that's surprising. Yeah. What are the last 5 though? He's not out there. He's not out there submitting people, is he? Again, I'm wrong a lot.
Lost decision, body kick to ground strikes. He lost to Shogun. He lost to Oven St. Preux. I mean, I'm not saying he's had. Look, when I say this, I'm not saying he's had one of the last.
Yeah, no, Petrino's going to dust this guy. I'm wrong a lot. I'm not wrong this time.
Yeah, I mean, 10-4. Pedro's 10-4. I'm a fan. So you're supposed to be impartial because fuck that. I'm a Tyson Pedro fan. If I'm putting money in a parlay, I might not put it on Pedro, but I'm a Tyson Pedro fan.
I was just saying at that point, just give it to a charity. Give it to a good cause, you know. Feed some hungry kids with that money.
Rosen, I'm a little disappointed in I was kind of excited for Rosenstruck's arrival into the UFC.
He's horrible.
And he's
absolutely horrible. Gaziev is going to dust the shit out of this guy. Rosenstruck, you know, what did he do? He beat somebody that was like a so-so win, but man, that guy's just been dusted out. He throws these slapping leg kicks, not these thudding leg kicks that do damage. These slapping foot leg kicks. Scroll down. Help me jar my memory. It was probably about 5 or 6 fights ago. Who has he beat?
13-5. I mean, let's look at
who's he beat.
One of the Dawkins brothers.
Listen, I love the Dawkins brothers. They are not on this level of competition, and that's no shot at that, man.
I mean, he's got losses to Alameda and Volkov, so again, you could take that with a grain of salt. He's got lost to Curtis Blade. Like at the end of the day, the guy's fighting.
Yeah, no, he is. But
you go from Curtis Blades to Volkov to
keep
scrolling
down.
Dockhouse presents challenges, and then you faced Alameda.
All right, we'll give him a pass. We'll give him a pass against Gane. Cyril Gane. There's no shame in that. He beat Augusto Sakai, whatever. You know.
He beat Junior Dos Santos back in 2020. He lost to Francis. I don't remember if he lost. Did he lose to? I think he won. I think he beat Overeem, didn't he? I don't remember who won that one.
I can't remember, but no, Rosenstruck. They're looking to promote this Gaziev guy. He's an absolute monster. So. But
was that your actual doorbell, or did I just put a sound and I didn't know I put a sound?
No. That was my actual doorbell. Hold on. Can I answer that?
I mean, carry on. I think you should take us. Yeah, just take us with you, just to make it entertaining.
My God, you should look at the.
All right,
we're just live. Right. We're just live on the internet.
No biggie. No biggie.
Yeah, Rosenstruck, he did beat Alistair Overeem. And he came in on a 4, like he came in and killed his first 4. He had wins over Overeem, Arlovsky, Alan Crowder, who's kind of on fire at the time. And then even before that, on the 8 fight win streak at one point. So like when I say I was excited for him to come into the UFC, I was excited for him to come into the UFC based on that. But again, the depth of talent he's faced since he got here has been fairly impressive.
He gets dusted. He gets dusted. No, Gaziev kills that guy. that will be.
Bill's a Russian sympathizer.
Something like that. But yeah, it should be a fun fight. We'll see. I'm not.
Whoops. So you get off and you play sound effects and you forget to open up the comment feed. And Christy's been commenting since 8 p.m. It's now 8:09. we're just to give Christy her shine. This is the last 10 minutes of the comment feed.
Yeah, roast me on the internet. Weirdo.
Yeah, that might be the greatest series of comments in the 24 episodes of this show.
Yeah, fun stuff.
I gotta give Brett a shine. This might be the best one. This wins.
I can't even see it.
It says, "You still alive, Christy, or did you freeze to death?" This is the best one.
It's not
good to know that Brett Coleflex is still with us.
But all right, what are we doing? We ready for the ref rant?
Yeah, I mean, what quite possibly could you have to bitch about? I mean, it's only week 6 straight through of Saturday nights of fights. So I will throw the graphics up here and we will go through this. And as soon as I find the graphic here, because there's 26 fucking things over here.
You'll like my ref rant tonight. It's good. It's peaceful. I've had a good week, man. My the whole stolen car thing has been put to bed. Like moving forward, and I think I'm getting promoted at work soon. We'll see. It's been a good week, so you'll like my ref rant. Yeah.
So without further ado, I'm going to take myself. No, I can't do that just yet. I don't know how this fucking works. I haven't played with it enough. Without further ado, we present the weekly look. We call it the ref rant, presented by NoSlap, noslap.com, code FightShow for 20% off your order. There's a little logo to make sure you're in the right place. Bill is possibly addicted to NoSlap at this point. He's been using it for 2 weeks, and I think he might be possibly ingesting it. With that being said, this ref rant, fueled by NoSlap, he's going to hit a soul slap before he lets it rip and tear someone a new fucking asshole.
Whew. That's good shit.
Get him, Bill.
I'm not going to tear somebody a new asshole this weekend. We have been, I've been having a pretty good week. I just want to say, I will rant about this. Every once in a while, 2 people tend to go in an agreement to do something. And one guy is really, really good at it and really carries his weight. And the other guy is just here to look pretty and look good. I want to take this week's ref rant time to just give a shout out to my co-host Garrett here, man. This guy's a hustler, dude. Soul slap, pull no punches apparel, Canada dips. Like every time I turn around, this guy's got something good going on, and this is all him. I just sit here, look pretty, get angry, drink whatever beer I'm drinking on the weekend, and bullshit about MMA. My shout out this week, ref ranting at myself. I should do better. I should show up to production meetings. I should tune in a little earlier, but I just want to give a shout out to Garrett, man. He's an awesome co-host. None of this shit would be going on without him. This guy pulls 85% of the fucking weight. I need to do a little bit better besides just sit here and look pretty and have a great ass. So ref rants at myself. Garrett, I'm gonna do a little bit better, man. We can I can carry my weight a little bit more in this shit. My bad, dude. You're awesome. Love having you as a co-host. Love my soul slap for sponsor. Good shit. That's the only thing I got this week, man. Life's going pretty good.
Yeah, we got nothing to complain about. I mean, every problems we have are kind of first world problems.
Definitely first world problems. Yeah, definitely first world problem, man.
I appreciate it. I've been involved in this sport for over a decade, the same as you. For those of you that don't know, like the whole story with it, I know we're running a little over tonight, but one of the first local fights I ever went to, Bill was fighting the Mannheim Strangler. I was like, who the fuck is this Mr. Clean looking motherfucker? And where's Mannheim? And fast forward, I don't even remember when that was, but fast forward, that was in York, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Back in 2011.
I first came into this space and green-eyed and wet behind the ears and not knowing a fucking thing. And there was Bill. And we fast forward 13 years, and I've been chasing this guy to do content since we worked shows together in Virginia, and we're finally doing it. It's fun, and we enjoy it. And all the extra little stuff, the great companies we get to work with, the brands that we like, that we bring them to you guys to make sure that you guys know that there's good quality small businesses out there. Guys like NoSlap, where you can go to noslap.com and use the code FightShow for 20% off your order. You know, our friends over at Pull No Punches Apparel, 717 Surplus, who has supported us for the last 24 shows now. Like I said, we got some new stuff coming next week. If you didn't see earlier, David Feldman gave us a verbal commitment, so we're looking to figure out a scheduling time for Mr. BKFC President David Feldman. Other than that, guys, as always, like, share, follow, engage with the content. We're always available. Bill has insight far beyond your average keyboard warrior on Facebook, so if you have questions, feel free to ask. Hit us up. We're available. I'm a little more available than Bill because he actually has a fucking clock to punch.
That's true.
But
thanks for all your hard work, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Hey, man, we're just two fans with a different outlook on stuff because of what we've been through, and it's pretty much anybody with anything. You can't very well not be a football fan and have a football podcast. We lived, eat, breathed, shit, and slept this fucking sport for damn near over a decade, both of us combined, 20 years combined. So
it's been a wild ride.
We are not John McCarthy and Josh Thompson, and we sure as fuck aren't Joe Rogan and Jamie, but we try our best, guys.
We're better.
I mean,
the people I know like me better. They don't even know who John McCarthy is. So I pay attention to those who pay attention to me. Why anybody cares what I have to say about anything, I don't know, but I appreciate you guys and love you guys, and I'll talk about anything with any one of you anytime. So
cool, man. With that being said, again, noslap.com, code FightShow, 20% off your order. We can't advertise them because Facebook buries it, but please feel free to shout out our friends at Canadips. We use the products. We love the products. Canadips.com, code FightShow for 20% off your order. Pulling Punches Apparel, 717 Surplus. Bill with the Soul Slap.
Good.
We aren't sponsored by Gaspari Nutrition, so don't wear that shirt on the show again.
Dude, it was clean and on top of the hamper. All right.
Fight Show, episode 24. Your lucky Bill has clothes on. We will see you guys next Thursday, 7 p.m., correct?
Yes.
Yes, because the week of the 16th, we won't have a show, guys, but we'll probably do some other stuff. Fight Show, episode 24. Go check out everybody that supports us so we can support the fighters. Fight Show 24, we're out, guys. Peace.
All right, peace.